All right, so you've sent us these excerpts from Brahma Sutras, according to Sri Sankara,
Yeah.
by Swami Vivekananda.
Okay.
And we're excited to dive into these
Yeah.
ancient Sanskrit texts with you today.
All right. Let's do it.
I was thinking about it, and imagine trying to understand the entire universe,
Oh, wow.
its purpose, and your place in it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the Brahma Sutras attempt to do.
It's a big task.
They're a foundational text of the Vedanta school of Hindu philosophy,
Right.
offering a deep dive into the nature of reality, the self, and this ultimate reality known as Brahman.
And what's so fascinating is that they're incredibly concise.
Oh, really?
They're almost like aphorisms,
Okay.
acting as threads meant to be woven together with the Upanishads to form the tapestry of Vedanta philosophy.
So instead of straightforward explanations,
Right.
we're dealing with a philosophical puzzle.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They require careful study and interpretation.
So how do we even approach that?
Well, Swami Vivekananda's commentary, for example, helps unpack their deeper meaning and connect them to the Upanishads,
Okay.
offering a clearer picture of what the sutras are trying to convey.
So let's start piecing this puzzle together.
Okay.
One of the key concepts you highlighted in the excerpts is Brahman.
Right.
It's described as this ultimate reality,
Yeah.
the source and support of everything, almost like the cosmic code that makes the universe run.
Like the operating system of reality.
But how do we, as non-Sanskrit scholars,
Right.
even begin to grasp this idea?
It's a challenge to express this vast concept in words.
Yeah.
But the Brahma Sutras,
Yeah.
they provide some guidance.
Okay.
They posit that ultimate reality, this Brahman, is eternal, unchanging, pure consciousness.
Pure consciousness.
Think of it as the ground of being,
Okay.
the underlying reality from which everything arises and to which everything returns.
Okay, that makes me think of the analogy the excerpt uses.
Right.
Brahman being like a vast, infinite ocean, and individual souls being like the waves.
Yeah.
We might appear separate on the surface, but ultimately we're all connected to this much larger, boundless source.
That's a beautiful and insightful connection you've made.
Oh, thanks.
The Brahma Sutras are all about highlighting this interconnectedness,
Okay.
reminding us that we are not isolated entities, but expressions of the same fundamental reality.
So that raises a big question for me, though.
Okay.
If we're all expressions of Brahman,
Yeah.
what about our individual sense of self?
Right.
Our ego, our personality? How does that fit into this picture?
That's where the concept of Atman, the individual self, comes in, Vedanta.
Yeah.
Based on the Upanishads and Brahma Sutras, posits that Atman is ultimately identical to Brahman.
So wait, the wave eyes the ocean?
In essence, yes.
How can something be both individual and part of a larger whole?
It's a concept that challenges our typical way of thinking.
Totally.
The Brahma Sutras delve into this through intricate arguments, exploring different facets of existence and consciousness.
Wow.
They examine the nature of perception, the role of the senses, and the limitations of our intellect in truly grasping the nature of reality.
So there's a lot more to this than just the simple analogy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The sutras use the analogy as a starting point.
Okay.
But they go much deeper.
Right.
Dissecting the philosophical underpinnings of this non-dualistic understanding of reality.
Okay. I'm starting to see the depth here.
Good.
But if we are all essentially Brahman, why don't we experience it that way?
Right.
Why do we feel so separate and limited?
That brings us to another key concept, Maya.
Maya, okay.
It's often translated as illusion,
Okay.
but it's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Think of it as the veil that obscures our true nature. Okay.
Making us perceive the world as separate and distinct,
Okay.
rather than as a manifestation of Brahman.
So Maya is like a filter on our perception, distorting reality.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras actually provide several examples to illustrate how Maya operates.
Oh,
For instance,
okay.
they use the example of a rope mistaken for a snake.
Okay.
In dim light, we see the snake, fear arises,
Yeah.
but upon closer examination,
Yeah.
we realize it was just a rope.
Right.
The fear was based on a misperception,
Right.
an illusion created by the interplay of our senses in the environment.
It shows how easily we can be tricked by appearances.
Yeah.
How our perceptions can create a false sense of reality.
Exactly.
But if Maya is so powerful, how can we possibly break free from it?
Right.
How can we see through the illusion?
That's a question the Brahma Sutras address directly.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
I'm ready for part 2. All right. Before we dig into how to break free from Maya, it's important to understand why we would even want to.
Right.
See, the Brahma Sutras suggest that our entanglement with Maya is the root cause of our suffering.
So it's not just that Maya prevents us from seeing reality clearly.
Right.
It also leads to pain and dissatisfaction.
Precisely.
Okay.
The sutras explain that when we identify with our limited ego selves, with our desires and attachments, we create a separation between ourselves and the true reality of Brahman. Okay. This separation is the source of our suffering.
That makes me think of all the times I've been caught up in wanting something, achieving something, or even just worrying about what other people think of me. It's like I'm creating my own suffering by clinging to these fleeting things.
That's a very insightful connection.
Thanks.
The Brahma Sutras are all about recognizing these patterns of thinking and behavior that keep us trapped in the cycle of Maya. But they also offer a way out. They outline paths to liberation or moksha, which involve transcending Maya and realizing the unity of Atman and Brahman.
And the excerpts you provided focus on 3 main paths.
Yeah.
Knowledge, meditation, and selfless action.
That's right.
Let's start with knowledge. What kind of knowledge are we talking about here?
It's not just any kind of knowledge.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras emphasize the importance of understanding the true nature of reality, as described in the Upanishads and the sutras themselves.
So we're talking about a specific kind of knowledge.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This knowledge isn't about memorizing facts or theories.
Got it.
It's about direct experiential understanding.
So it's about internalizing the wisdom of these texts.
Right.
Letting them guide our understanding of ourselves and the universe.
Exactly.
Right.
The sutras provide a framework for contemplating profound truths about existence, consciousness, and the nature of the self. Through deep reflection and study, we can begin to dismantle the false notions we hold about ourselves and the world around us, chipping away at the illusion of Maya.
That makes sense.
Got it.
But knowledge alone can feel a bit abstract.
Right.
How does meditation fit into this picture?
Well, the excerpts describe it as a way to directly experience the unity of Atman and Brahman.
Okay.
To sort of pierce the veil of Maya.
It's like a more experiential approach?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Meditation, as described in the Brahma Sutras, is a powerful tool for cultivating a state of pure awareness. Of quieting the mind and connecting with the deeper reality within.
You mentioned earlier that the sutras provide examples to illustrate concepts.
Right.
Do they offer any specific examples about meditation?
Yes, they do.
What kind?
One example they use is that of a lake.
A lake, okay.
When the surface of a lake is still, we can see clearly to the bottom, reflecting the true nature of the lake.
Okay.
But when the surface is agitated by waves, our vision becomes distorted, and we can no longer see clearly.
Okay.
The mind, they suggest, is like the surface of the lake.
I see.
Through meditation, we can calm the waves of thought, allowing for a clearer perception of the true nature of reality.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It emphasizes the importance of stillness and clarity in our inner world.
Exactly.
It makes me wonder, though, what about the outer world?
Okay.
What about our actions and choices?
Right.
Does selfless action or karma yoga also play a role in breaking free from Maya?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras emphasize that liberation isn't just about intellectual understanding or meditative states. It's about embodying that understanding in our daily lives, in the way we interact with the world and with others.
So it's not about renouncing the world and becoming a hermit?
Not necessarily. Karma yoga is about performing actions without attachment to the results.
Gotcha.
Acting from a place of duty and service.
Right.
Rather than being driven by ego-driven desires.
It's about aligning our actions with our understanding of the interconnectedness of all things.
Yes.
Recognizing that our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for everyone and everything around us.
Precisely.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras remind us that every action creates a ripple effect, impacting the world around us in subtle and profound ways.
Okay.
By cultivating a mindset of selflessness and compassion, we can start to break free from the limitations of our ego-driven actions.
Okay.
Contributing to a more harmonious and balanced world.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It reframes the idea of good deeds as not just about the individual, but about contributing to the well-being of the whole.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how these different paths, knowledge, meditation, and selfless action, all work together.
They do.
Like different facets of the same gem.
I like that.
All pointing towards the same goal of liberation.
They are interconnected and mutually supportive.
Okay.
Knowledge illuminates the path.
Right.
Meditation clarifies the mind, and selfless action purifies the heart.
Okay.
Together, they pave the way for the realization of our true nature.
Okay, but here's a question that's been nagging at me.
Okay.
If everything is ultimately Brahman,
right?
If we're all just waves in the same ocean, does that mean our individual choices and actions don't really matter?
That's a profound question.
Yeah.
And it touches upon the age-old debate of free will versus determinism.
Right.
While the Brahma Sutras emphasize the ultimate unity of all things, suggesting that everything unfolds according to a cosmic order.
Okay.
They also place a great deal of importance on individual effort and self-transformation.
So how can we reconcile these seemingly opposing ideas?
Right.
How can we have both free will and a predetermined path?
It's a paradox that challenges our limited human understanding.
Okay.
Perhaps the key lies in recognizing that these concepts, as we perceive them, may not fully encompass the true nature of reality.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras invite us to go beyond the limitations of our intellect, to explore the mysteries of existence with an open mind and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
That's a helpful perspective.
Good.
It's like the sutras are saying, don't get hung up on trying to figure it all out.
Right.
Just keep seeking.
Exactly.
Keep exploring.
Yeah.
And see where the path leads.
I like that.
But if Maya is an illusion, why do we experience suffering and pain so vividly?
Right.
And if liberation is possible in this lifetime, what does that actually look like?
The Brahma Sutras don't shy away from these difficult questions.
Right.
They acknowledge that even though Maya is an illusion, it's a powerful and convincing one.
Right. It feels real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's not.
Exactly. As long as we're caught in its grip, we'll experience the world with all its joys and sorrows, pleasures and pains.
So it's not that suffering is unreal, but rather our perception of it that's distorted.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
The sutras suggest that our suffering stems from clinging to the illusion of separateness.
Okay.
When we identify with our limited ego selves, we create a sense of isolation from the true reality of Brahman, leading to dissatisfaction and suffering.
But if that's the case, does liberation mean we escape suffering altogether?
The Brahma Sutras describe liberation, or moksha, not as the absence of suffering, but rather a shift in our relationship to it. It's about recognizing that suffering is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to define us or control us.
So it's about transcending the limited ego self and realizing our true nature as Atman.
Exactly. One with Brahman.
One with Brahman, And from that perspective, suffering can be seen as a catalyst for growth and transformation.
Precisely.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras offer a framework for navigating life's challenges with wisdom and equanimity.
Okay.
They encourage us to see beyond the surface level of our experiences, to detach from our ego-driven desires, and to connect with the deeper reality within.
You mentioned earlier that the sutras provide practical examples to illustrate their concepts. Do they offer any insights?
They do, to what this liberated state might look like in practice. One example they use is that of a lotus leaf.
A lotus leaf.
Even though the lotus leaf rests on the surface of the water, it remains untouched by the water.
Okay.
Similarly, the Brahma Sutras suggest that a liberated being, while still engaging with the world, remains detached from the turmoil and drama of everyday life.
That's a beautiful analogy.
I like that one.
It suggests a sense of inner peace and freedom, a way of being in the world without being consumed by it.
That's it. The sutras describe liberation not as a passive state of bliss, but rather an active engagement with life from a place of wisdom and compassion.
Okay.
A liberated being acts with clarity and purpose,
Right.
motivated by a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things.
So it's not about escaping the world, but rather transforming our experience of it.
Transforming our experience, exactly.
Yeah.
The path to liberation outlined in the Brahma Sutras is about recognizing the divine spark within ourselves and realizing that same spark animates everything around us.
Right.
It's about cultivating a sense of unity and interconnectedness, not just with other humans, but with all of creation.
It seems like the Brahma Sutras offer a profound and challenging path.
It is, yeah.
But one that ultimately leads to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
It's a journey worth taking.
Well, this deep dive into the Brahma Sutras has certainly been enlightening.
It has, yeah.
From Brahman to Maya, from Atman to Moksha.
Yeah.
We've explored some truly mind-bending concepts.
We have.
What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's the emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay.
The Brahma Sutras remind us that we are not isolated individuals, but rather integral parts of a vast and interconnected web of existence.
Right.
This understanding can be profoundly liberating.
Yeah.
Fostering a sense of compassion, empathy, and responsibility for the well-being of all beings.
That's a beautiful reminder to carry with us.
It is.
As we navigate the complexities of life, we encourage you to continue exploring these concepts, to delve deeper into the wisdom of the Brahma Sutras, and to see how these ancient teachings can illuminate your own journey of self-discovery.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back next week with another exploration of your curated sources.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep seeking, keep questioning, and diving deep.
All right. See you next time.